So it's 2 weeks now since the Robodebt Royal Commission report was handed down. When will the referrals in the sealed section be released to the public? Because I think we all want to know. Will the government commit to releasing that information within 12 months?
Patrick Gorman.
I haven't seen that sealed section, so I actually can't answer that question. I mean, I can imagine that, you know, for many people who've been affected by Robodebt, that's a pretty hard answer to hear. But I haven't seen that section, so I can't give you that answer.
Should it be released publicly, the information, in 12 months?
Can I help Pat out there for a bit? There's one of the reasons they don't release it is if there's the likelihood of a criminal case or something going before a court, people have to be given the capacity to go before that court without the world of public opinion seeing it first. And that's generally why they seal things up. And that's the last time I'm going to help the Labor Party out tonight. But go back to you.
Look, don't lock yourself into anything, Barnaby. But I would also say on that is that the Commissioner heard everything about this scandal, about the broken lives, the absolute disregard for fellow Australians that was caused by this. And the Commissioner made a decision to have that sealed section. I respect that decision.
OK, you respect it, but would you like to see it?
Look, I think everyone in this room and everyone watching this program would like to see it. Do you think
the government should commit to trying to work to a process where people do see it?
I think we should commit to the process which we committed to, which was we will act on the 57 recommendations we've got. We can't undo the past. I wish we could, because it was a scandal and it really hurt people in so many ways. But we will. I can see you want to say something else, so I'm going to stop.
Well, I just think we shouldn't have to wait for 25 years to pass before we see what's in that sealed section. It should be more timely than that.
25 years, you'd have to agree, James Heappey, it's a long time. Transparency is a huge issue in your country, too, in your politics.
I'm loath to comment on something that I know so little about. And what is interesting is that this could be any issue in any country where there's a parliamentary democracy. The language is the same, the debate is the same. In the UK at the moment, we've had a run of MPs who have been censured by our sort of standards committee in Parliament, and that in the UK can mean a recall petition, and if over a certain percentage of the electorate you sign the petition to recall you, you lose your seat, and there's a by-election or a special election to reselect, which seems eminently fair, but there is a thing in the UK Parliament at the moment about whether this Standards Commission has now become so powerful that it's no longer electorates that decide whether MPs serve, it's this Standards Committee. So look, I don't want to comment on the specifics of the issue because I don't know anything about it, really, but I do think it is interesting that in a parliamentary democracy, our bosses are our electorate. How parliamentarians are held to account by their electorate mid-term is a perennial issue for which I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. But parliamentarians are also people, and if it is the case that there's been criminal proceedings, it seems eminently fair that those criminal proceedings might pass without juries having been prejudiced by early publication. That seems a very fair point.
Has Boris Johnson been held to account for Partygate?
Well, I mean, given that he is no longer the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom nor a Member of Parliament, that would seem to be a pretty severe set of sanctions against whatever happened. Yeah.
Robodebt was the most appalling breach of small L liberal values of protecting individuals, with 500,000 people persecuted. And there has to be holding to account on a few fronts. The individuals involved need to be held to account. Now, we're in a much better position now than we were 18 months ago because we now have an anti-corruption commission. And it's about to start operating, and it will be able to, it has started, it will be able to actually pursue matters of corruption that don't meet a criminal standard but still are not acceptable. At the same time as that, though, I'm really concerned that we focus on the accounting for the past and we forget about what needs to change to the future.
So you've got a bill that you want to introduce about transparency, right?
I do. So I'm introducing a private members bill that is part of the work we need to do on integrity, which is about restoring trust. And that's about restoring trust in our political system and in our politicians and our electoral processes so that we have better transparency, we get the big money out of politics, and we level the playing field so there's competition in our political ideas incentives, just like there's competition in business. And this is the sort of reform that I think we need to do to start rebuilding that trust so that people can actually believe that the people that they elect are acting in the interests of the country, not in their own vested interests.
Okay.